St. Petersburg authorities are holding a news conference right now to give us an update on a depression and building collapse at Central Avenue and 7th Street. Let's listen in.
We're bringing it's called a lull, and it's kind of a large forklift. They're going to park it in front, and they're going to run the forks out to the arch where you see the hole. It's going to help stabilize that archway, so then they're able to get into the hole and repair it. Currently, the water department is working on 2 points where they've cut holes into the concrete. They're going to access, and once they cut those holes, they're going to put in a T. The T is going to cut the water off that's running through the transmission line. Once they turn that water off, then they'll be able to get in the hole and repair the leak. After they repair the leak, they're then going to backfill the hole, and we got to stabilize the structure at that point. In about 3 hours, they're projecting the city's building basically 2 I-beams. They're going to take out the storefront, and they're going to run the I-beams parallel with the exterior wall. Our concern is this is a load-bearing wall, so it's carrying the majority of the weight of the structure. Once they run those I-beams through the wall, they'll then run cross bracing. The cross bracing will connect the parallel I-beams, and then they'll run straight up and down support, some more I-beams to support the hole. Once that's all supported, then they'll be able to open the other businesses and return water and everything back to the area. But in the meantime, they're just trying to stabilize everything at this time.
You see the front of the building?
It's going to be Central Avenue side. They're going to have to take that glass window out, and they're going to run an I-beam parallel with this exterior wall that's running north and south.
How dangerous would it be for you guys to move it now without it stabilized?
That's our biggest concern is you saw individuals marking the ground and marking the building. Basically, we marked the cracks. We have a transom watching the building, but we want to see if any more cracks are developing and if the cracks get larger. If the cracks get larger, obviously something's going on underground that we need to be concerned with. So at this time, until we stabilize this, our concern is the other buildings that are attached to this building.
I know you're focused right now on stabilizing everything, but do you have any kind of a time frame on when it might open up? Because obviously some small businesses here are concerned about that.
Sure. Presently, we're looking at about 30 to 60 minutes. The lull getting here, being able to take the weight of the archway and support that. So within an hour, they're hoping to get into the hole and be able to start repairs on the water line. Within 3 hours, we're thinking the city will have that other piece built and brought out, and we'll be able to span that gap. So they're surveying the roof as well to see if any cracks are developing and anything that's going on. It's just another safety precaution they're taking.
Explain to people why we're still seeing water.
The reason the city didn't turn off the water totally, they have to have water going through so we don't have to go into a boil alert. If we're allowed to let the water still come out of the pipe, we have no backfeeding of the soil or the sediment into the pipe, which causes your boil alerts. So it's more of a precaution for the patrons of the city to allow the water to continue to trickle out the way it's moving.
How widespread is that? How widespread?
If they shut off the water and there was any contaminant to get into it, it'd probably be a citywide boil alert because you don't know how far the contamination got into the water system. It's being evaluated as far as the loss, and more than likely this end of the structure is going to be considered a loss. There is a firewall that separates this business from the other business, and that's what we're working on, is trying to salvage the remaining businesses. Not that I'm aware of. Eventually, that's what they're talking about. That's one of the options, is either demolishing it or trying to work on repairing it. The engineers are still evaluating the integrity of the structure.
Any timeline for when these will eventually be open?
As soon as possible. I have no definite answer on how soon we can get it open at this time.
They're putting ones out in right here. Where's the other one? Down there?
The other one's going to be in the alleyway between 1st Avenue South and Central. There's an alleyway they've cut into the concrete, and they're going to cap it off. So then they'll do the branch lines and be able to operate around it and isolate this line to take it out of service. It's a transmission line, a 12-inch transmission line that runs along the road here. It's a water main. They refer to it as transmission line.
Any idea how old the transmission line is here?
Unknown on the age of that or the age of the building.
Could this have been avoided if they just fixed it last night?
They were working on trying to fix it. One of their things that they were doing was excavating some of the soil to get down to the leak itself. So it just takes time. It doesn't happen immediately. They were working on it throughout the night. That's what I was told.
So the first water appeared outside the building, correct?
The water appeared. It showed up in the streetway. The PD was called out because of flooding in the area, and then they notified the water department, and everybody came out at once. But they did have crews working throughout the night, is what I was told, to try and control the water leak. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
And you were just listening there to Deputy Fire Marshal Steve Lawrence with the St. Pete Fire Department giving us an update on exactly what happened with that depression and then subsequent building collapse that's happening over in downtown St. Pete, Central Avenue South and 7th. We're working to get a little bit more information for you. Of course, we'll bring it to you throughout the day. You can find us online at abcactionnews.com and then again at 4 o'clock for the Now Tampa Bay. We now return to regularly scheduled programming.